Ethan Cole worked late on the Aurora's Dawn, the deep space research ship where he had spent most of his adult life. The hum of the engines and the low vibration of the ship were familiar to him, almost comforting. He liked to be alone when the ship was quiet, away from the chatter of other crew members. Tonight he was fixing a communication relay near the observation deck. He was careful with his tools, his fingers moving with practiced precision. Every bolt, every wire mattered. One small mistake and the signal could be lost. The observation deck stretched along one side of the ship. Outside the thick glass, the stars sparkled endlessly. Ethan often stared at them for long minutes when he needed a break. Space was beautiful, silent, and strange. It reminded him of how small humans were in the universe. He had seen thousands of stars in his lifetime, but they never lost their wonder. Some nights he imagined traveling to them, though he knew he would likely never leave the ship. As he worked, a strange shimmer caught his eye. It was small at first, barely noticeable. A tiny flicker of light danced across the darkness outside. Ethan frowned. It didn't look like a star. He leaned closer to the glass and watched. The flicker pulsed, moving slowly toward the ship, then away, almost like it was watching him. Ethan's heart beat a little faster. He wasn't sure what it was. Maybe a satellite, or a reflection from some other ship. He didn't know. Suddenly a soft hum filled the room. It was faint, almost like a voice in his mind. He looked around. The hum seemed to come from the relay he had been repairing. His fingers froze on the wires. Something was happening. Then before him a holographic image appeared. It was faint at first, like smoke, but then it solidified. Ethan blinked. His eyes widened. Standing there in the middle of the observation deck was a woman. She was tall, slender, and graceful. Her skin glowed faintly in the dim light, and her hair shimmered like silver threads. Her eyes were bright blue and seemed to look right through him. She wore clothing unlike anything Ethan had ever seen. It was elegant, flowing, and seemed almost alive, moving gently even though there was no wind. Ethan felt his throat go dry. He had seen aliens before in holovids and even in person during official encounters. But this was different. This woman was stunning, beautiful in a way that was impossible to describe. Her presence felt real, almost tangible. He took a small step back, unsure if he should move closer or run. His heart raced, but he could not look away. Who are you?" he whispered. His voice trembled. The woman smiled. It was soft and calm, but it carried authority. "I am Lyra," she said. Her voice was clear, musical, and gentle. "I am the ambassador of the Carinth Dominion. You are Ethan Cole, correct?" Ethan swallowed hard. His lips barely moved as he said, "Yes, that's me. How are you here?" Lyra tilted her head slightly. Her gaze did not leave him. "Your ship's relay created a link with our communication network. This was not intended, but now we are connected. I can see you and you can see me." Ethan's mind spun. He had never encountered anything like this. He had worked on communication systems for years, but he had never imagined something like this. A real living alien appearing before him because of a small repair mistake he had made. He felt a mix of awe, fear, and excitement. He stepped closer, unsure why he wanted to be nearer to her. He studied her face. Her eyes were large and bright. Her lips were soft and shaped like they were made for smiling. Her expression was calm, yet there was a strength in her. Ethan found himself whispering without thinking, "Wow, she's gorgeous. I wish I had a wife like her." The moment the words left his lips, Lyra's eyes widened. For a heartbeat, her expression froze. Then softly she said, "I heard you." Ethan's eyes widened in shock. He stepped back. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. She had heard him. She had heard a private thought he had not intended to share. Heat rose in his cheeks and he felt a wave of embarrassment. I didn't mean," he started, but she held up a hand. "I know," Lyra said calmly. Her voice was gentle yet firm. "Words spoken from the heart are never meaningless, Ethan Cole. They carry truth." Ethan's mind struggled to process what she had said. He had whispered the words without thinking, as a private thought, almost a fantasy. He never imagined an alien would hear them and respond in such a way. He wanted to apologize, to explain himself, but the words seemed too small for the moment. Lyra stepped closer in the hologram. Her figure shimmered faintly, but her presence seemed to fill the room. She studied him, her eyes calm and curious. "Tell me, Ethan, why did you speak such a thing? Why does a human wish for companionship in such a way?" Ethan scratched the back of his neck, unsure how to answer. He felt like a child being asked to explain a dream. I guess humans feel things deeply. We notice beauty and sometimes we imagine having someone we care for, someone who is kind and lovely. Lyra's gaze softened. She tilted her head as if studying him more closely. Humans have many emotions, she said quietly. I have read about them in your records, but I did not know they could be so honest, so direct. Ethan felt his heart beat faster. He had never spoken like this to anyone, not to friends, not even to family. He felt as if she had unlocked a part of him he had kept hidden. The room felt smaller and yet somehow more alive. I didn't mean to. I didn't expect you to hear me, Ethan said, finally finding his voice. Lyra smiled faintly. The universe has a way of surprising even those who study it closely. Your words reached me, Ethan. I will remember them. Ethan nodded slowly. He wanted to say more, but the words stuck in his throat. He felt a strange warmth in his chest, a mixture of fear, excitement, and something else he could not name. He looked at her and she looked back, and for a moment the stars outside the glass seemed to fade. The only thing that mattered was the connection between them. Over the next few hours they spoke quietly. Ethan asked questions about her world, about the Corinth Dominion. She asked about Earth, about humans, about life aboard the Aurora's Dawn. Their conversation was slow at first, careful, but it grew more natural. Ethan found himself telling her things he had never told anyone. He spoke about his family, his childhood, his dreams, and his fears. Lyra listened patiently, never interrupting. She asked gentle questions, sometimes probing, sometimes just curious. Ethan learned that her people were advanced but very strict. Their civilization valued knowledge and order above emotion, and personal feelings were often considered secondary. Yet she seemed different. Her curiosity, her willingness to engage, showed a depth he did not expect. At one point, Ethan laughed softly at something she said, a joke about human customs that she had misunderstood. Lyra tilted her head, and for the first time she laughed too. It was soft, musical, and warm. Ethan felt a strange flutter in his chest. He had never heard a laugh like that from anyone before. Hours passed like minutes. Ethan lost track of time. The hum of the ship faded into the background. All he could focus on was her. All he could think about was how real she seemed, even though he knew she was a hologram. Her presence felt alive. Her words felt alive. Finally, exhaustion hit him. His hands were tired from work, his eyes strained from staring at the stars, and his mind was spinning with the impossibility of what had happened. He leaned back in his chair and rubbed his face. Lyra watched him silently, her expression calm, almost serene. Will you visit again? Ethan asked quietly, almost shyly. Lyra nodded. If your system remains stable, we can speak again. I will return, Ethan. There is much I wish to learn about humans and much I wish to learn about you. Ethan's heart skipped a beat. He nodded slowly, trying to hide his excitement. I'll be here, he said. I'll be ready. As the hologram faded, leaving only the soft hum of the relay, Ethan leaned back and stared at the stars once more. His mind was full of wonder, questions, and a strange warmth he could not explain. He thought about what he had said, about the wish he had whispered, and about the strange, beautiful woman who had heard it. For the first time in a long time, Ethan felt that the universe was not so big and cold after all. Somewhere out there, beyond the stars, someone was listening, and somehow he knew that his life had already begun to change. He looked at the empty space where she had been and whispered softly to himself, almost as if hoping she could hear. I hope you come back. Lyra. The next morning, Ethan woke early, though he had barely slept. His mind kept replaying the events of the previous night. He thought about Lyra, her glowing blue eyes, her soft voice, and the way she had smiled. He still could not believe that she had heard his private words. He walked slowly to the observation deck, hoping that maybe, just maybe, he could see her again. The deck was quiet. The hum of the ship was familiar, and the stars outside stretched endlessly, calm and distant. Ethan checked the relay system carefully. Everything seemed normal. He touched the small console that had caused the strange link, almost as if his hands could somehow reach across the void and touch her. A shiver ran down his spine. He felt nervous but excited. Then, without warning, the soft shimmer appeared again. The light flickered, forming into the familiar shape of Lyra. She looked exactly the same as before, tall, elegant, and glowing faintly. Her eyes met his, and for a moment the world seemed to stop. "Good morning, Ethan," she said. Her voice was calm, but there was a hint of amusement in it. Ethan smiled a little awkwardly. "Good morning, Lyra. I didn't know you'd return so soon." Lyra's form shifted slightly as if floating closer. "I wish to speak with you. There is much I do not understand and I want to learn." Ethan nodded. He took a deep breath, trying to steady his nerves. I can answer questions if you want. I know a little about humans and Earth." Lyra tilted her head. "A little? Your species has a long history. Yet I am curious about your daily life, your thoughts, and your feelings. Tell me, Ethan, what do humans do when they are alone, and what do they think about when no one is watching?" Ethan was surprised. No one had ever asked him such questions. He thought for a moment, then answered honestly. "When I am alone, I work or I watch the stars. I think about my family sometimes, and I think about what life could be if I had someone to share it with, someone kind who understands me. I think about simple things, like friendship, trust, and love, things humans care about deeply." Lyra listened quietly, her expression calm, but her eyes seemed to shine a little brighter. "Humans feel deeply. Your words carry weight. Your thoughts are honest and open. It is rare for me to encounter such honesty." Ethan looked down at his hands. He felt embarrassed, but also proud. He had never shared these thoughts with anyone before, and somehow with Lyra, it felt safe. He felt a connection that he had never felt before with any human. "Why do you listen to me so carefully?" he asked. "You could have ignored me or just studied me from afar." Lyra's smile was faint, almost gentle. "Because your words are different from data or reports. They are real. They carry life, and I wish to understand life, not only through observation but through experience. Your honesty, it is valuable." Ethan felt his heart race. He had expected curiosity, maybe even caution. But this was something else. It was as if she truly wanted to know him, not just the human species. He did not know why, but it made him feel important. Over the next few days, Ethan and Lyra continued to meet in the observation deck. Each time, the connection became stronger. They talked about Earth, its oceans, its mountains, and its forests. Lyra asked about humans, about love, family, friendship, and even humor. Ethan answered patiently, sometimes joking, sometimes serious. One night, Ethan asked her about her world. "Lyra, what is your home like? What do you enjoy?" Her eyes seemed to shine brighter. "My home is vast. Our cities float above oceans of crystal, and our skies are filled with colors you would not believe. We study knowledge and logic. Emotions are often secondary, but I am different. I find curiosity about other species more important than obedience." Ethan listened closely. He realized that she was breaking rules. Her people had strict laws about interacting with other species, and yet she risked much to speak with him. The thought made his chest tighten. He felt responsible in some way, as if he had caused her to take a risk. Do you ever feel lonely?" Ethan asked softly. Lyra paused. She did not answer immediately. Then after a long moment she said, "Yes, loneliness is a strange thing. Even among my people, who are many, I feel separate. Perhaps that is why I am drawn to you. You are honest, simple, and human. I am not used to feeling this way." Ethan's heart beat faster. He had never thought that an alien could feel loneliness like a human. He realized that no matter how advanced her civilization was, she was still capable of emotions, just as humans were. As the days passed, they shared more than words. Ethan showed her holograms of Earth's landscapes. He told stories of his childhood, how he had loved climbing trees, swimming in rivers, and listening to his grandmother's stories about the stars. Lyra listened intently, her form shimmering slightly as if reacting to his words. She asked questions, sometimes surprising him with her understanding. One night, during a quiet conversation, Ethan whispered something he had not intended to say aloud. I wish life could be simpler. I wish I could find someone who understands me, who would be by my side no matter what." Lyra's eyes widened. She looked directly at him, her form shimmering with a faint light. "I heard you," she said softly. "Your wish. It carries honesty. You do not hide your heart. It is rare among your species." Ethan's face turned red. He had spoken the words without thinking, and she had heard them again. But this time it did not feel embarrassing. Instead, it felt like a bridge had formed between them, a connection that went beyond words, beyond species. For the first time, Ethan felt hope. He realized that in the vast emptiness of space, among the cold stars, he had found someone who listened, who cared, and who understood. Days later, the ship's captain noticed the unusual activity near the relay. He called Ethan to the bridge, questioning him about strange energy readings. Ethan explained carefully without mentioning Lyra, fearing that if he told the crew they might forbid contact. The captain frowned but eventually accepted the explanation, though he remained suspicious. That night, when Ethan returned to the observation deck, Lyra was waiting. "They are curious about your system," she said. "You must be careful. Humans are cautious about the unknown. You must protect our connection." Ethan nodded. "I will. I don't want to lose this. I want to talk to you again." Lyra smiled faintly. "And you shall. We have much to learn from each other. But you must understand, Ethan, there are risks. My people would not approve of this, yet I cannot stop." Ethan felt a strange warmth in his chest. He wanted to ask her more about the risks, but he did not. Instead, he simply nodded, understanding that some things were beyond his control. Over the next weeks, their connection deepened. Ethan taught her about human culture, emotions, and art. Lyra shared what she could about her people, about their science, and their logic. They laughed together at misunderstandings, debated ideas, and sometimes just sat in silence, watching the stars. One evening, as Ethan repaired another relay, he noticed a soft glow near the floor. Lyra's image appeared in more detail than ever before. She looked at him with a gentle expression. "Ethan, I wish I could be there in person, to see your world, to experience it fully." Ethan felt a pang of longing. "I wish you could. I would show you everything. I would take you to rivers and mountains. I would take care of you." Lyra's eyes softened. She reached toward the projection, and for a moment, it felt as if her fingers almost touched his. "Perhaps one day, Ethan, perhaps one day." And in that moment, both of them understood something unspoken. Despite the distance, despite the stars and the laws that separated them, a bond had formed, one that could not be broken by space or time. As Ethan left the observation deck that night, he felt a new sense of purpose. He was no longer just a maintenance engineer on a distant ship. He was a human who had met someone extraordinary, someone who had listened to his heart and who had shared hers. He could not explain it, but he knew that his life had changed forever. And somewhere beyond the stars, Lyra's eyes glimmered as she thought the same thing. Days passed, and Ethan's life slowly began to revolve around the times he could speak with Lyra. Each day, he would finish his work quickly, rush to the observation deck, and wait for the shimmer of her form to appear. He had become careful, checking the relay, making sure the system was stable. Sometimes the connection flickered, and he felt a small panic in his chest, afraid she might vanish forever. One night, as Ethan adjusted the controls, Lyra appeared more vividly than ever. Her form seemed almost solid, and for a brief moment the room felt warmer, brighter. She looked directly at him with her calm blue eyes. "Ethan, I wish to see more of your world," she said softly. Ethan smiled, though his heart pounded. "I wish you could. I would show you everything: earth, rivers, mountains, forests, the stars from my home, everything humans hold dear." Lyra's form shifted slightly closer. "You speak as if I could travel to your world. But the laws of my people would never allow it. Even being here, this connection is forbidden. You must be careful, Ethan. You could face consequences if others discovered this link." Ethan's smile faded. "I understand, but I don't care about consequences. I just want to know you. That's all I care about." Lyra paused, as if studying him deeply. Then she said quietly, "You are brave, human. That is unusual. Most of your kind obey rules before understanding them. You speak from the heart, even at risk to yourself." Ethan felt warmth spread through his chest. He had never heard anyone speak like that to him, especially not someone so extraordinary. I feel the same," he admitted. "Even if it's risky, even if it's dangerous, I want to know you too." For the first time, silence fell between them, and it was not uncomfortable. Ethan watched her, captivated by the way she floated in the glow of the hologram. She looked thoughtful, almost troubled. "Ethan," she said softly after a long pause, "I am not like your people. My life is bound by duty. If my superiors discovered this connection, I could be removed from my post or worse. But despite that, I find myself drawn to you. It is confusing, and yet I cannot ignore it. Ethan nodded slowly. He understood more than she knew. I don't know what's coming, Lyra, but I know that I care. I care about you. Even if we are worlds apart, even if it's impossible, I care. Her eyes glimmered. Cares is a strange word among my people, but your kind uses it freely. It is powerful. I want to understand it fully. Teach me, Ethan. Teach me about humans, about care and about love. Ethan felt a lump in his throat. No one had ever asked him to teach them something so important. He felt both proud and scared. I'll try, he said quietly. I'll teach you as best as I can. Over the next few days, they spent hours talking. Ethan explained simple human emotions: joy, sorrow, anger, and affection. He told her about family, friendships, and the way humans could feel love deeply for someone they trusted. Lyra listened carefully, asking questions and sometimes pausing as if she were thinking. She shared small things about her people, about how logic often came before emotion, and how her kind avoided attachments. Ethan realized that every word she spoke was a small act of rebellion, a challenge to her own rules. One night, the connection flickered unexpectedly. Ethan's hands moved quickly, adjusting the controls to stabilize the signal. Almost got it. Hold on, he muttered, sweat on his brow. Lyra's image shimmered with light as the signal wavered. Ethan, be careful, she said softly, her voice slightly strained. Your interference could be noticed by others. They would not understand. I know, Ethan said. I can fix it. I have to fix it. Finally, the signal stabilized and Lyra's form became clear again. She floated closer, as if drawn by the same relief he felt. You risk much for me, Ethan. I did not expect this level of devotion. You are remarkable. Ethan smiled, though he was still nervous. I don't think about risks. Not really, I want to keep talking to you. That's all that matters. Lyra's eyes softened. Then I will continue to speak with you despite the danger. But there is more. I need to tell you something important. Ethan's heart skipped a beat. What is it? I have discovered feelings I cannot explain. My people do not experience emotions like this freely. And yet when I speak to you, I feel warmth, curiosity, and longing. I do not understand it completely, but it is strong. Ethan's breath caught. He realized that the bond between them had grown beyond simple curiosity. She cared for him in her own way, despite the distance, despite her duties. Lyra, I feel the same. I cannot stop thinking about you. Every day I look forward to seeing you, to speaking with you. Her form shimmered slightly as if a small pulse of light passed through her. Then we are connected in ways that are unusual for both our species. This connection, it is risky, yet it feels right. Ethan nodded slowly. He understood completely. They were worlds apart, yet something tied them together, a bond stronger than distance, stronger than law. Days later, the ship received an unusual alert. Ethan glanced at the console, frowning. There were traces of energy signals near the outer edges of their sector, signals he did not recognize. He checked the logs carefully. This isn't normal, he muttered. Could it be another ship? Lyra appeared in the deck, her form tense. Ethan, I detect interference. Something approaches your location. It may be hostile. You must be cautious. Ethan swallowed hard. Do you think it's connected to us? It could be, Lyra said quietly. The energy signature matches patterns used by my people to monitor communication. They may have discovered our connection. You must act carefully. Ethan felt a chill. He realized that their conversations, their growing bond, had consequences. Someone or something was paying attention. And if they discovered the connection, it could be disastrous for Lyra and dangerous for him. For the first time, fear crept into his heart. He had been so focused on the joy of talking to her, on the warmth he felt when she was near, that he had not considered the risk. Now the reality of the universe pressed down on him. We have to hide the connection, Lyra said, her voice firm. I will guide you, but you must act quickly. Your ship's AI may notice anomalies. We cannot allow them to trace the signal back to me. Ethan nodded, his hands moving quickly over the console. I'll do it. Whatever it takes. Together they worked, stabilizing the signal while masking it from the ship's monitoring systems. Ethan learned more about her technology than he had ever imagined. She guided him patiently, explaining what each adjustment meant. The process was tense, but it brought them even closer. Every word, Every shared effort strengthened their bond. When they finished, Ethan leaned back, exhausted. Lyra floated before him, her form calm again. "You are brave, Ethan. Most humans would not take such a risk. Yet you act from the heart. That is what makes you remarkable." Ethan smiled, though his mind still raced. "I don't know why I care so much, Lyra, but I do. I care because you are important to me." For a long moment they stared at each other in silence. The stars outside the observation deck were distant and quiet. But inside, something had shifted. Their connection was no longer just curiosity or fascination. It had become something deeper, something neither of them could fully name but both understood. Lyra's gaze softened. "Then we must be careful, Ethan. Our connection is precious, but it is also fragile. There are forces that would break it if they discovered us. You must promise to protect it no matter what." "I promise," Ethan said without hesitation. "I will protect it, Lyra, even if it's dangerous. Even if it costs me everything." She nodded, her form glowing faintly with what seemed like approval. "Then we will continue cautiously. But know this, my thoughts are often with you even when I'm not present, and soon we may face choices that will test us both." Ethan felt a shiver of both fear and excitement. He did not know what the future held, but he knew one thing. He could not imagine his life without her. Somewhere beyond the stars, an alien woman cared for him, and that connection was worth every risk. As he left the observation deck that night, Ethan stared at the endless stars. He thought about Lyra, her glowing blue eyes, and the words they had shared. He thought about the risks, the dangers, and the unknown forces that might discover them. But most of all, he felt hope. Hope that no matter the distance or danger, their bond could survive. Hope that their connection, fragile and forbidden, could grow into something stronger. And hope that one day they might meet in person, beyond the stars, beyond the rules, beyond fear. For the first time, Ethan felt that the universe was not cold and empty. Somewhere out there, an alien woman had reached across the void and their hearts had met in the silence of space. And he knew that nothing could erase that. The days that followed were tense. Ethan felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. Every time he entered the observation deck, he worried about being discovered. The relay system hummed quietly, but he knew that any small error could expose their secret. He had never felt so nervous in his life. And yet when Lyra appeared before him, all his fear seemed to melt away, replaced by a strange comfort he could not explain. Lyra floated in the hologram, her blue eyes calm but serious. "Ethan, we are being watched," she said softly. "I detect energy patterns consistent with Corinth monitoring ships. They may have noticed unusual signals from your ship. We must act carefully." Ethan swallowed hard. "How close are they?" he asked. His hands trembled slightly as he adjusted the console, checking the energy readings. "They are near enough to intercept communications," Lyra replied. "If they trace the signal, it could mean danger for both of us. My people do not forgive disobedience easily, and you, human, may be questioned or worse for assisting me." Ethan's stomach tightened. He had known there was risk, but hearing her say it aloud made it real. I don't care," he said firmly, though his voice shook. "I can't stop talking to you. I care too much." Lyra's gaze softened. "I feel the same, Ethan. That is why I must warn you. We are no longer safe in the open. We must find a way to hide our connection." For hours they worked together, stabilizing the relay and masking the signals. Ethan followed her instructions carefully, trying to remember every detail. Lyra explained what each step meant, guiding him through processes he had never imagined. She showed him ways to shield the communication so that the ship's AI would not notice, ways to scramble the signal, and ways to keep a hidden channel open. When they finally finished, Ethan leaned back in exhaustion. His hands ached and his eyes felt heavy. "I hope that will work," he said quietly. Lyra floated closer, her light shimmering gently. "It should work for now, but we cannot be careless. There are forces that will detect even small anomalies. We must continue with caution." Ethan nodded. "I understand. I'll do whatever it takes." For the next few days their conversations continued, but now they were careful. They avoided topics that might trigger the ship's AI to record unusual energy fluctuations. Instead, they spoke in coded phrases, laughing at little jokes that only they understood. Ethan found that even in secrecy, their connection grew stronger. He shared memories from Earth, from childhood adventures and long summer days, while Lyra shared glimpses of her world, crystal cities, skies filled with colors and oceans of light. One evening, Ethan heard a sudden alarm. Red lights flashed across the observation deck. "What is happening?" he shouted, rushing to the console. Lyra's form appeared immediately. Her expression was urgent. "They are here," she said. "A Corinth monitoring ship has detected unusual energy near your location. They are sending a team to investigate. You must hide all evidence of our connection immediately." Ethan's heart pounded. "How do I do that? How can I hide it?" "Follow my instructions quickly," Lyra said. Her voice was calm but commanding. "Shut down all non-essential relays, isolate the communication arrays, and encrypt the energy signals. Move fast. There is no time to waste." Ethan worked frantically, his hands moving over the controls with trembling speed. The red lights continued to flash. His stomach churned with fear, but he focused on Lyra's voice, following her directions exactly. Minutes later, the alarm ceased. Ethan wiped sweat from his brow. Did we do it?" he asked. Lyra nodded slowly. "For now, yes. But this is only temporary. The Corinth will not stop searching for irregularities. We must prepare for what comes next." Ethan sank into a chair, exhausted. "I don't know if I can handle this. I just want to talk to you without fear." Lyra's eyes softened. "I know, I wish it could be that simple. But we are caught between our worlds. Danger is real and the cost of our connection could be high, yet I would rather face it than lose what we share." Ethan looked at her, his chest tightening. "I feel the same. I don't care about danger. I care about you, and I don't want to lose you." Lyra floated closer, her holographic form shimmering. "Then we must be strong, Ethan. Stronger than the fear and the rules that surround us. Together we can survive this if we are careful and brave." In the following days, the tension grew. Ethan worked tirelessly, often late into the night, maintaining the relay and ensuring that the hidden connection remained secure. Each time he saw Lyra, he felt both joy and anxiety. The joy came from their conversations, the small moments of laughter and understanding. The anxiety came from the thought that any mistake could expose them, endangering both of them. One night, as Ethan adjusted the controls, a sudden flicker appeared. Lyra's image wavered, her form shaking as if caught in a storm. "Ethan!" she cried. "They have detected a trace of our communication. You must act fast." Ethan's hands flew over the console, frantically adjusting relays and encrypting the signals. The hum of the ship seemed louder, oppressive, as if the walls themselves were aware of the danger. Sweat dripped down his face. I'm trying, he shouted, his voice tight with panic. Lyra's hologram stabilized slightly, but her expression was tense. "There is a window, Ethan. You must close it now, or they will track us to the source." With one final adjustment, Ethan managed to secure the connection, masking it from detection. He slumped in the chair, breathing heavily, his hands trembling. I did it," he whispered. Lyra floated closer, her form glowing softly. "You are remarkable, Ethan. Most humans would have frozen or failed. But you acted with courage, intelligence, and determination. You saved us." Ethan's chest tightened. I only did what I had to. I couldn't let them find you. I care too much." Lyra's eyes softened, her glow brighter than before. "And I care too, Ethan. That is why I risked so much to speak with you. Our connection. It is dangerous, yet it is real. We must protect it no matter the cost." Days passed in tense secrecy. Ethan and Lyra continued to speak, but every word was measured, every interaction cautious. They learned to communicate through small gestures, coded phrases, and hidden signals that no one else could detect. Even in danger, their bond grew. Ethan realized that he no longer feared the unknown as he once had. The stars, the ship, and the universe itself seemed less intimidating, because somewhere beyond the glass, Lyra was waiting for him. One evening, Ethan looked at the stars outside the observation deck, thinking about the risks in the future. He felt a strange mix of fear and hope. "Lyra," he whispered, "even if the Corinth find us, even if the universe tries to separate us, I won't give up. I can't give up." Lyra's hologram appeared beside him, calm and radiant. "Nor can I, Ethan. We are bound by more than duty or law. Our bond, it is stronger than fear, and when the time comes, we will face the consequences together." Ethan smiled faintly. "Together," he echoed. And for the first time, despite the danger, he felt a sense of certainty. He did not know what would happen, but he knew one truth. Their connection, fragile and forbidden, was worth every risk. Lyra's gaze softened and her voice was gentle. Remember, Ethan, we must be careful, but we must also remain true to ourselves. Courage, honesty, and care will guide us. And no matter the trials ahead, I will not abandon you. Ethan felt his chest tighten with emotion. I won't abandon you either, Lyra, no matter what happens. The night stretched on, silent and vast, but Ethan no longer felt alone. Somewhere beyond the stars, an alien woman had chosen to trust him, to share her heart with him, and in that trust he found strength, hope, and a new sense of purpose. For now they survived. But both of them knew the future would demand more courage, more wisdom, and more heart, and they were ready to face it together. The alarm blared through the ship, loud and urgent. Ethan's heart raced as he dashed to the observation deck. Lyra's form appeared instantly, shimmering with urgency. Ethan, they have traced the hidden signals. The Carinth monitoring fleet is moving toward your ship. You must act now. Ethan's hands shook as he worked at the relay. Every adjustment mattered. Every second counted. He knew that if the Carinth discovered the connection, Lyra could be captured and he could face serious consequences as well. The hum of the ship grew louder in his ears, echoing his panic. I'm trying, he shouted. I'm doing everything I can. Lyra floated closer, her blue eyes filled with determination. We have one chance. You must transfer the hidden data into a secure backup. Only then can we protect the connection. Ethan moved quickly, following her instructions. Sweat poured down his face as he worked with speed and care. He thought about her glowing eyes, about her trust in him. That thought gave him courage. He would not fail her. He could not. The ship shook violently as alarms continued to ring. Ethan realized the Carinth had locked onto their location and fired warning energy pulses at the Aurora's dawn. Sparks flew across the control panels. Hold on, Ethan shouted, gripping the console tightly. Lyra's voice was calm, steady, and urgent all at once. Ethan, focus. You can do this. We must protect the bond between us. No one can sever it. Ethan's hands moved faster than he thought possible. He followed each of her directions carefully, encrypting the signals, isolating the relays, and transferring the data. His heart pounded. Every second felt like an hour. He knew that if he made a mistake, everything would be lost. Finally, with one last command, the transfer completed. Ethan slumped in exhaustion, breathing heavily. I did it, he whispered. Lyra floated closer, her form glowing brightly. You have saved us, Ethan. You are brave beyond measure. Most humans would have given up in fear, but you acted with courage and determination. You protected what is most precious. Ethan swallowed hard. I couldn't have done it without you. I couldn't have known what to do. You guided me. Lyra's eyes softened. We guided each other. That is the truth of our connection. You have risked much for me, Ethan, and I have risked much for you. For a moment, silence filled the observation deck. The hum of the ship seemed quieter now, almost peaceful. Ethan looked at Lyra, and he realized that no matter the danger, no matter the distance between their worlds, he could not imagine losing her. Suddenly, the ship's AI alerted them. The Carinth fleet had begun to close in. Ethan and Lyra had only minutes before the enemy would reach their location. Lyra's form flickered slightly. Ethan, we must escape. I will help you, but the jump coordinates must be precise. One small mistake and we could be lost in the void of space. Ethan nodded, swallowing the fear in his throat. He trusted her completely. Tell me what to do. Lyra guided him step by step. She showed him how to align the jump coordinates, how to stabilize the energy fields, and how to prepare for the sudden transition through space. Ethan followed each instruction carefully, his hands steady despite the adrenaline racing through him. Minutes felt like eternity as the monitoring fleet drew closer. The ship trembled with every pulse from the approaching Carinth vessels. Ethan gritted his teeth, refusing to panic. He focused on Lyra's voice, her calm presence anchoring him. Finally, the last command was entered. Lyra's eyes glimmered. Now, Ethan, initiate the jump. Ethan pressed the final button. The ship shuddered violently as energy fields expanded around them. Light filled the observation deck, brighter than the sun, then darker than space itself. Ethan felt his stomach drop as gravity shifted and everything seemed to stretch and blur. He held onto the console with all his strength. Then suddenly it was over. The Aurora's dawn emerged in uncharted space, far beyond the Carinth fleet's reach. Ethan stumbled, breathing heavily, his hands shaking. Lyra's form solidified fully, brighter than ever. She floated before him, calm and radiant. "You did it, Ethan," she said softly. "We are safe, for now." Ethan slumped into a chair, still trying to catch his breath. I can't believe it. We actually made it?" Lyra smiled faintly, her gaze gentle. "You have proven yourself, Ethan. Not only in courage, but in heart. That is what makes you remarkable, and that is why I trust you." Ethan felt warmth fill his chest. I trust you too, Lyra. Completely. No matter what happens next, I won't give up on you." Her eyes softened, shimmering with light. "And I will not give up on you. That is our promise, Ethan. Whatever trials await, whatever dangers we face, our bond is real. And real bonds cannot be broken by distance, laws, or fear." For the next few hours, they remained together in the observation deck. Ethan stabilized the ship, checking systems and energy levels while Lyra watched him quietly. They spoke in soft tones about the future, about hope, about dreams they might share one day. "I want to show you Earth," Ethan whispered. "I want to take you to rivers, mountains, forests, to see the oceans and the sky. Everything humans love, I want you to see it." Lyra's eyes glimmered. "I want that too, Ethan, and perhaps one day we will. But for now we must remain cautious. The universe is vast and there are dangers yet unseen. But your heart has guided us safely. That is more than most can say." Ethan nodded slowly. "Then we'll keep going together. No matter what happens, we face it together." Lyra's glow intensified slightly, her form more solid than ever. "Yes, Ethan, together." In the days that followed, Ethan continued to maintain the ship, always alert, always careful. Lyra remained a constant presence, guiding him, sharing her wisdom and teaching him about her people. They laughed, learned, and shared stories, growing closer with each passing moment. Every word, every gesture, every shared experience strengthened their bond. One quiet night, Ethan looked at her floating in the hologram, and he felt a courage he had never known before. "Lyra," he said softly, "I don't know what the future holds. I don't know what dangers we will face. But I know this, I want you in my life. I don't want to lose you, not ever." Lyra's eyes glimmered with emotion. "Ethan, I feel the same. Our worlds may be different, our laws may forbid us, but our hearts are aligned. That is what matters." For a long moment they just looked at each other, connected across the void of space, yet closer than anyone could be. In that silence they understood the depth of their bond, the strength of their trust, and the courage that had brought them together. Finally, Lyra spoke softly, almost a whisper. "Ethan Cole, you have risked your life to protect me, and I have risked everything to speak with you. That is proof that we are connected. No matter what comes next, I will not leave your side." Ethan's heart swelled. "And I will not leave yours, Lyra. Not now, not ever." The stars outside the observation deck stretched endlessly, silent witnesses to their bond. They were worlds apart from home, facing dangers neither had imagined, but together they had survived. Together they had proven that courage, honesty, and care could bridge even the vast distances between stars. And though the universe was uncertain, though the Carinth and the rules of space might test them again, Ethan and Lyra knew one truth. Their connection was real, their hearts were aligned, and nothing could break what they had built. As the aurora's dawn drifted quietly through uncharted space, Ethan and Lyra remained together, their bond stronger than fear, stronger than distance, stronger than the unknown. They had faced the impossible and had come out united, ready to meet whatever the future held, together. In the vast silence of the cosmos, two hearts from different worlds had found each other, and in that finding, they had changed everything. And for Ethan Cole and Lyra, that was enough.